Ella's Study Notes, where advanced English meets real-life magic.
All right, let's dive into a story, a really chilling English folktale. We're talking magic, mystery, and honestly some amazing words that paint this super eerie picture. Ready? Let's get into it. Okay, so picture this. You're on the wild, misty moors of Dartmoor in England. It's this huge, lonely place, right? And the fog is just clinging to everything. And right in the middle of all that, this strange, rocky hill just juts out from a swamp. That place, that's Vixen Tor. And believe me, it has a dark secret. So, we're talking about the terror of the Tor. Yeah, this isn't just some random hill. For hundreds of years, it was home to something, well, something wicked. A creature that terrified anyone who even thought about passing by. So what was this source of terror? It was a witch. You know, the locals, they were smart to stay away. Because down in a dark, damp cave at the bottom of that hill lived an old witch. Her name was Vixiana. And let's just say she was not the friendly type. So just how cruel was she? Well, Vixiana pretty much hated everything and everyone. She'd scare away sheep just for fun, snap beautiful flowers, smash bird eggs in their nests. But her absolute favorite thing to do, she lure unsuspecting travelers into that deadly bog that surrounded her home. Just pure evil. Okay, before we find out if anyone can actually stop her, let's take a quick pause. I want to zoom in on how the story describes Vixiana, because it uses some really cool English to paint a picture with words. These are awesome phrases to add to your vocabulary. First up, she's described as thin as a rake. You know a rake, right? That super long, skinny tool you use in the garden? Well, that's what this idiom means. Someone who is extremely thin. And since the story says she was almost 2 meters tall, you get this really creepy image of a towering, almost skeletal figure. Spooky. And her hair. Oh man, the story says it hung like tangles of lichen. So what's lichen? It's that mossy stuff, usually green or gray, that grows on old rocks and trees. So just imagine her hair, not just messy, but limp, tangled, and probably a gross green color, just like the rocks she lived on. What a picture, right? And this one is my favorite. Her laugh is described as ghastly. What a great word. Ghastly means something is so horrible, it makes you feel real fear, real shock. So think about it. As her victims were sinking into the bog, the last thing they heard wasn't just a cackle. It was a truly terrifying, horrifying sound. It just nails how evil she was. Okay, so with that super creepy image of Vixiana in your head, let's get back to the story. It seems like she's unbeatable, doesn't it? Well, this is where things get interesting. It's time for the plot twist. John's magical gifts. So enter our hero, John. He's just a young guy traveling through the moors to see his family. But here's the thing, he's not some random traveler who doesn't know what's up. He's from around there. He's heard all the awful stories. He knows exactly what Vixiana does, and he has no intention of being her next victim. And this is why John is a total game changer. See, Vixiana has her tricks, right? She summons this thick fog to confuse people and uses a sweet voice to trick them. But John has his own magic. His eyes are so sharp they can see right through any fog. And, get this, he has a ring that makes him invisible. Oh yeah, it looks like this witch has finally met her match. So Vixiana whips up her usual fog, but she's completely shocked when she sees John just calmly walking down the path. He can see her perched up on the rocks, just waiting for him. And at that moment, John just thinks, you know what? Enough is enough. He decides it's time to end this. So he slips that magic ring onto his finger, and poof, he's gone. Vixiana is totally baffled. Where did he go? She gets up and scurries to the edge of the rock to try and spot him. But, of course, she sees nothing. Meanwhile, invisible John is quietly sneaking up the rock, right behind her. He gets closer and closer, and then he gave her an almighty shove. Yes, this is it. She lets out this terrifying screech as she just tumbles right off the tower. And where does she land? With a huge splash right in the middle of the very same bog she used to trap everyone else. You can just imagine the thick mud just sucking her down. Talk about a perfect ending for an evil witch. And that's how our story ends. The witch is gone for good. Her bones are now buried deep in that swamp right next to her victims. All thanks to John's bravery and his cool magical gifts, of course. The path past Vixen Tor is finally safe, and the moor is peaceful once again. But wait, there's more to it than just a spooky story. This legend is actually tied to real English geography and folklore. And when you understand that stuff, it kind of gives you a whole new appreciation for where these tales come from. Let's look at tors, bogs, and legends. So what even is a tor? You might have never heard that word before. Well, it's a real geographical thing, especially in places like Dartmoor. It's basically a big rocky hill that just pops up dramatically from the land around it. And these tors, they often have their own names and, you guessed it, their own legends. And the bog, what's the deal with that? Well, in British folklore, bogs and swamps are basically always bad news. They're seen as these super mysterious, dangerous spots. People could get lost or sink and vanish forever, so that makes them the absolute perfect spooky setting for stories about monsters, ghosts, and, yep, evil witches like our friend Vixiana. Okay, so we've been through the whole story, we've learned some awesome new words, and we've even touched on the culture behind it all. But now it's your turn to be the hero. So John's move was a surprise attack. Pretty clever. But what about you? If you had that magic invisibility ring, how would you take down a witch? Would you just give her a shove like John did? Or could you think of something even smarter? Let me know what you think. Thanks for hanging out for this story.